Okay, nice. Hello. So today, no AI LLM stuff for once. I hope you're happy about that. I don't think you can read it, but I want to talk about the Next.js and React vulnerability that got disclosed last week. Who has heard of the vulnerability before? Okay, good, good. So last week, I think it's now 8 days ago, Meta and Vercel and basically everything that relies on the new React features released a CVE, which just said pre-authentication remote code execution with a 10.0 code. So that's the worst thing you can pretty much have. And it originates from React. And so if, for example, Next.js is a meta framework based on React, so Next.js has the same issue basically. And on modern Next.js versions are affected. And a lot of times I see CVEs and they have a super high score and I think like, yeah, not really relevant, like in super niche scenarios that can happen. And I still upgrade, of course, but this time it's really fucking bad. Like I wanted to build a demo and I was surprised how easy it is to actually exploit that. So the next part to show you how bad it actually is, I have a quick demo for that.
You have to show your screen again, I think.
Oh, it's gone. That is annoying. 1 second. That's why you don't use Microsoft Teams.
Yeah, I agree.
So I created a Next.js app here, like the completely default Next.js app. So you do npm or npm create, and then the default Next.js template, right? And this is what you get from that. Like, if I actually run it. So you get your beautiful Next.js and you can start coding, right? And at this point, you're already completely vulnerable. So you don't need to do anything specific. Like you don't need to use any specific feature. Anybody is vulnerable for that uses the modern versions. And Vercel also pushed everybody to use those modern versions. So I think that's probably 90% of Next.js users. And to show you how bad it really is, I have a very simple bash file here. I don't know if you can you read that? Yeah. And really the only important part is this value in JSON here. And this will be executed with full privileges server side, with access to everything. And because Next.js has a server side and a front end, so it's a full stack framework. So it's not just like an SPA, which just runs in your browser, it also runs on a server. A lot of people, for example, use it to connect to the databases, right? So in this example, I just print process.env, which of course has secrets in there. And to show you that, I just executed and I just made a basic curl request to the landing page, and I printed now all the environment variables on server side. It's relatively bad. And the access goes even further, that you can, for example, also import packages. So here I require the file system package, and I just delete README because I can, right? So dash delete, and now my README file is gone. Well, so I'm just trying to show you, you really have full access. You can do anything. And of course, I also did a small like exfiltration thing, which just gets the environment variables, puts them into a URL, and then sends a fetch request out. So you also have full internet access. You can literally do anything. And the exploit itself is very interesting how it works. It went over my head like crazy. Like this is very deeply technical JavaScript stuff, how it works. The short version is that Meta fucked up, and they don't do a check on like, if you've used JavaScript, you probably know has own property. They're missing a check there. So the patch is actually like 3 lines, like one if statement. Plus it's JavaScript because it's dynamic and has duck typing. So it's a mix. If you want, I also have links for a very good explanation where they like go through everything in that payload to explain how it works. I won't try to explain that. But I just wanted to show you quickly here the exfiltrate thing as well. I have a web server here running, which just gets the base64 data, and then prints the environment variables. Now that's pretty bad. I'm luckily not a front-end developer, so I didn't have any Next.js apps running that were vulnerable. But it's even worse. I run a cloud hosting platform where my customers host Next.js apps. So that was kind of ass. So we're like a Heroku, but German and way smaller. And we have a bunch of customers that also use Next.js, roughly like 8%. Yes?
Did this happen like in development mode and in production mode?
Yes, that happens for everything. And like, oh, that's actually a good point. You don't really see like for most people, like most basic Next.js users, this is the log you will see in the console, right? Like just the post request. You don't see anything that crashes. It looks completely normal. So if you don't have like really good telemetry, you won't even know that you got hacked, basically. But yes, so I run a platform as a service. So our customers run Next.js apps on my infrastructure. I didn't sleep very well for the last few nights. And of course, I let my customers know that use Next.js to like, please patch your shit. There was less than 10% of our customers, which is still way too many. And so I also saw some actual exploits that happened, which I think was kind of interesting. This was one of the most common ones, at least for us. I don't think that's the most common one in general. This little command, I don't know if you can read it. This is really just, again, a script as base64, and then they execute it as bash, and then they have some ping, probably to see if the exploit actually worked. And if you decode the base64, they luckily just installed a crypto miner. And in this case, they just tried to mine some Monero, I think. Fine with me. I mean, that's really the best thing that can happen, because they didn't give a shit about your environment variables. They just wanted to make some quick money. And the nice thing is, because wallets are, of course, public, you could see how much they actually mined, which I will show you later. You can guess now how much money they actually made with that whole attack. The winner gets something, I guess.
€5?
Huh? Less. So the impact in general for us is, as I said, it was less than 10% of customers, which is still way too many. Then, as far as I know, those that patched really quickly were not affected. But as I showed you, it's really hard to know if you were affected. Like, it's basically impossible to know. But they didn't have obvious crypto miners installed. So that's a good start. And they all, I hope, still rotated their credentials. But it's really hard to say if you really got compromised or not. Those that took more than 72 hours, pretty much all of them had crypto miners running at the end. And this is kind of sad. But a lot of companies, like after 8 days, they still haven't patched it. And they're like serious software development companies. I sent them multiple emails and they're like, how bad can it be? I mean, their website is down, but they don't care apparently. Also, the bigger the company, the slower the reaction was. Which maybe is obvious, but I kind of thought that if there's like dedicated software engineers, they kind of get the situation. They don't. And actually, like the smaller shops, like the single freelancers, they had it fixed within 30 minutes. The big ones don't. I don't know what's going wrong there, to be honest. It's really sad. Yeah, some I actually send them proof, like there's a crypto miner running, we shut your servers down. And they're like, okay. I really don't get it, but fine. And then something else that was interesting is we have a lot of abuse in general, like customers actually trying to run crypto miners, and that really helped in finding the hacked Next.js instances. Because usually we protect against users that like try to use the infrastructure to then just install miners. And now they got hacked and installed miners, and we still detected that through the same mechanisms. So that was kind of fun. I never thought about that. Yes, and then the resolution is this specific hacker that scanned a lot of IP ranges, as far as I could see, made a whole €1.51. At least on that wallet. Of course, it's possible that they have hundreds of wallets or thousands. I don't know, but
The winner?
huh? Yeah, probably. But what I'm trying to say is like if you probably do that 1,000 times, it may be worth it, but I don't fully get it, to be honest. But I thought that was interesting. Then if you're affected, how to fix, just upgrade. It's really not that hard. Like, just upgrade. Also, actually, if you use some open source software that uses Next.js, also update your open source software. Because we also had some customers that used some weird AI open source stuff that had affected versions. And then they didn't really think about that this also uses Next.js. But yeah. And there's also now scripts that automatically update your package JSON if you need that. And this was the actual patch, which I think is also interesting, that the vulnerability did that bad. In the end, it's like 3 lines of fix. Yes, that's all. Please update. And then those blog posts are really good from Wiz and from the Versal co-founder. He wrote like a big Twitter post where he explained everything. Those are way better than what I can explain. Yes, thank you. That's it. That was very great. So what was your speed to update Next.js? Did anybody had to update? Nobody? You had? How fast were you? You were probably fast. Yeah.
Wednesday night.
Good. Did you get affected? Did you see it?
I got one crypto miner on an instance of a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And they made $50.
50 bucks. Oh, but that was a beefy instance, right?
It was funny because you can see the clients that actually connected to the miner actually mining.
Yeah.
Millions of them.
Interesting.
Not kidding. It was like the thing was cool.
Yeah. I think
I have this, but yeah, what you said, it's the if it's just the crypto miner,
it's fine. Yeah.
Fine, do it. It's 100% CPU capacity. Good. They mine cryptos, get a bunch of euros. But if you run your Next.js application, the Docker container, it's also pretty smart.
Yeah. Oh, that was actually interesting. I forgot that. We run like Next.js runs exclusively in Docker for us. And for example, this miner actually didn't work because they expect to run on a normal VM, like normal VM, and they tried to like do system services. It didn't exist, so it just broke. I had another one that tried to ping, and then ping wasn't installed and it just broke. Yeah, but that's so Docker, even though it's not like isolating or like full security, it still helped in some cases.
But yeah, there was one weird text thread about a Next.js application affected running in the Docker container where so they claimed that somehow they got persistence on the hosting server, like where the Docker daemon was installed through a cron job. And I was like just asking on X, hey, like give me your compose config, or how did you run the container using Docker run that made it possible from inside the container to create on the host machine a cron job, because that's not a default Docker feature. You cannot simply run a cron job on the host machine from inside the container without configuring something weird.
Yeah, but if you mount the Docker socket, for example, which a lot of people do, then it's already
a
lot of people
do.
You
mount the Docker socket, and if you mount then something like, or if you run your Next.js application as root and mount the Docker socket, then you could potentially run a busybox container that mounts the root file system that will then give you, but this is dumb as fuck.
Yeah, a lot of people do that.
Do this like this, then it's like,
but there's so many people that do that. It's insane.
Why should I mean, one thing, and this is why I'm a little bit, I don't know. I don't have anything specifically for or against traffic.
Yeah.
So what is it traffic? No, it is traffic. It's traffic. The weird thing that will detect you running services magically on your Docker hub thing, like on your Docker daemon, and then configuring proxy routes, and that's also cool because I don't have to. The only thing you have to do is running this freaking container as root and mounting a Docker socket. Well, fine. Now what should be the problem though?
Yeah, but there's
I think it's traffic, so that's why I don't like it.
Yeah, and traffic.
And I hate things in my infrastructure that does things magically just because it's not.
labels.
It's labeled, but I don't.
yeah, but I wanted to show you there's a lot of open source apps that specifically require you to mount the Docker socket.
That's containers, for example.
And that's Watchtower, which is for like, I don't know, it's for automatically updating Docker Docker images. And there's a lot of software that requires that. And people don't really think about it.
There's not a single one of my production servers doing this.
Good,
Not a single one,
of course.
because of reasons.
Yes.
It's
But
the same with like running your container as root. A lot of people do that. A lot of getting started with Docker do that crap because it's so much easier, because a lot of people don't like 80% of the people coming from Windows don't understand how access rights in Linux work, and that's a huge problem, at least in my experience. And I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, now, today, we still have SQL injection, which shouldn't be, in my opinion, a thing of the past. But yet again, we have that all. Yeah, I mean, it's because, let's do a database lookup, and here's the string. Let's do
It's this kind of best practices. That's why I don't like traffic, because they have this line, volume var Docker sock, in like a million and five documentations online, and people don't understand for what it is for, so they just copy it. And because traffic is doing volume var Docker, you don't understand why you have to mount the Docker socket. So you think, oh, that's fine, I'll do that everywhere. It's similar to the install scripts you get on all the modern websites where you pipe something from a URL in Bash.
Exactly.
Don't do this. Never ever do this. And they all tell us to do this. That's the simple install script. Just copy from the website, paste it in your terminal, and say bash, I don't know, pipe curl something. Okay, good. What can go wrong? Fine.
you want to see something? So this has 24,000 stars. The quick start is this, and then you see we do not recommend using Watchtower in a commercial or production environment without giving you any explanation. People who start with Docker, they just do this. They don't know. And I don't think you can blame the people. I think you need to blame like the maintainers of the software that you shouldn't put this into the quick start. And then
Some people should just read. The problem is these copy paste sections in a README. They're like, I don't know, like light for flies. You see it, you see the copy paste thing over there, you just click, you don't even read. You spot it, oh, that looks like a Docker command, click, paste, run, works, fine. Don't even read the README anymore. It works.
That's also true for company internal documentation. Like we had some documentation about how to do some stuff in GitLab, and we put example code there. That was a huge mistake. People copied that example code and don't understand that they needed their own personal values.
Yeah. It's like most of the software you see in the open source world, they have a security section in their READMEs, but it's always at the very top. So you get the simple things, and then at the end, like on page 2, you see, hey, if you do this in production, do these security considerations. Like nobody will read this. If it works till this portion of the README, then you're good. Never look at page 2. Why should you? It's working. So
yeah.
Any questions? So that I
nope, it was good, funny.
Thank you. Let's stop recording. Now you can.
So